Hi, I'm Martha Beaudry. I'm a realtor with Boulevard Realty. Welcome to my home buyer video series. So today's video is on the home buying process. This is going to be a brief overview. You're probably not really ready to get started. You're just kind of tinkering with the idea of buying a house, but it wouldn't hurt to know what the process is so you can kind of start preparing and planning for it. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, so if you do have specific questions you'd like for me to elaborate on, specific issues, just send me an email to the email address below and I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. So let's get started. All right, so you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, this is way too soon to get a realtor involved. And you may be right, it may be. But your realtor will become your partner during this process. So getting them involved before you get anyone else involved is very important. The second most important player you're going to have in your home purchase is your lender. And your lender, believe it or not, can make or break the deal for you. So by having a realtor involved, they can help guide you through your lender selection process. But believe me, you have a bad lender and it can make the whole deal fall through for you. You can have all sorts of issues. And you want to get that right. They can also help you understand what you want. It's early in the game right now, and probably know that you don't want to rent anymore or you don't want to live with your parents anymore. But, you know, there's a lot of things to consider, and a realtor can help you navigate through that and help you really understand what it is exactly you want. They're also a really good resource. They understand the neighborhoods. They know what the trends are. They know the various property types and pitfalls that can be involved with that. And they also have a lot of people that they know, a lot of contractors that will come in handy when you are considering purchasing a specific house or property, or if there are going to be repairs that are needed or whatever. But they know a lot of people that can also help you through the process. And they will save you a lot of time. You don't want to be, going off into areas or researching stuff that really don't matter. They'll be able to help you stay focused and keep things on track and not let you waste much time. So before deciding on your realtor, as I said, your realtor is your partner and you have to trust them. If you don't feel like you can talk to your realtor or confide in your realtor, then you need to find somebody that you can confide in and not worry about them. Um, in other words, you want to feel like your realtor has your best interest at heart, not their own. So something that will help you is if you Google them. Once you kind of have some realtors in mind that you would like to look into, Google them, see what other people are saying about them, how long they've been in business, and then you also want to interview them. You want to know what realtors are doing to stay ahead of the game, to keep informed. Do they preview properties? Um, do they take classes? Just just think of other things you may want to know about a realtor and feel free to interview them. It's not just the people who are selling a house that needs to interview a realtor. If you're buying a house, you want to make sure your realtor's got your best interest at heart and that they're going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing to make sure that you're happy at the end of the day. So you want to start your finance conversation before you start looking at a house. It's very important. Do not start looking at houses until you've been pre-approved. There are three reasons for this. The first one is you don't want to fall in love with a house and then find out you can't have it because you can't be approved for as much as the house costs. That house will then begin to set an impossible standard for you to reach, and you don't want that to happen. You want to really be happy with the house that you end up buying. The second thing is that when, let's say you go look at houses and you fall in love with one and it's probably within your financial realm to be able to be approved for, but you don't have a pre-approval letter to submit with your offer, and other people are going to be submitting offers with pre-approval letters, and you could actually lose that dream house because you didn't have a pre-approval letter to start with. Honestly, it only takes maybe 15, 20 minutes to fill out an application with the lender and get approved or get pre-approved. And then the third thing also that's really important is the really good realtors. The realtor you really, really want working with you probably won't work with you until you've been pre-approved. They'll answer questions. They'll be available to you, but they just won't start showing you houses until you've been pre-approved. So you want to get that done. And like I said, it's only 15-20 minutes. Just uh, fill it out online and you'll know exactly what you're pre-approved for. Interview your lenders. So if you get pre-approved by one lender, you're not obligated to stay with that lender. So you can still interview lenders and research lenders before you actually settle on one. So get pre-approved and then research your lenders and then decide what your final lender to be. Be sure to get all your financial data together. A bank wants to know how much money you have, how much you earn, and what your debt is, what your liabilities are. So have your W-2s, your 1099s, all your credit card balances, and all your bank balances, including your IRAs, 401ks, things like that. Have all that information available, and then they'll be able to look at all of that and tell you what you can be approved for. So before you start looking at houses, you want to start researching your neighborhoods. And the most important thing is to consider your lifestyle. Your house is kind of your shell. I mean, that's where you spend a lot of your time, but you want to enjoy leaving your house and enjoying the area around your house. So you want to be able to walk your dog, you want to be able to ride your bike, you want parks, you want things like that, maybe restaurants in the area. So you want to make sure that you think about those things that are important to you on the outside so that you can make sure you're in the right neighborhood. Another thing to consider is, the proximity to work. Do you want to be close to work? Do you want to be close to your family and friends? Those are things to consider. There's a payoff there. Some people hate the commute to work, and they have to be close to work, and they'd rather, drive further out to see friends and family. So it really does depend on what's important to you here. Amenities like pools, gated community. Are you trying to avoid HOAs? Do you want a place where you can play soccer and baseball or softball, things like that? So if those amenities are important to you, you want to consider that. Keep that as part of your list. And then what about transition neighborhoods? Some people like the idea of moving into a neighborhood that's on the edge and isn't quite where everybody else is living because they want to take advantage of future equity that they could get while the neighborhood improves. Just depends on what your comfort level and your risk level is, something like that. And then schools. Some people, young people that are preparing to have a family will want a house that's close to a specific elementary school. This is not uncommon. So if that's important to you, consider schools that are important to you, research the schools, and then you can start narrowing down your neighborhood and then eventually narrowing down a house. So now your castle, what you want. This is, there's some things you want to think about with your house. What's the architectural style do you like? Do you want something modern or traditional? Do you want ranch style? Do you like bungalows? Do you want a townhome? Do you want a house that kind of looks like everybody else's house that people don't like to be different? There's nothing wrong with that. So think about what you like as far as your architectural style is concerned. Think about what you need. Number of bedrooms, number of square footage, bathrooms, all that information, that's really important. Do you have a dog? It is not uncommon for people to put their dogs up front when considering the house that they want to buy. And our dogs are very important to us. If you are one of those people who feel bad, you're right in line with a lot of other people. So it's okay to want to put your dog up there as far as a high priority type of house you want to get. All right, the number of stories. This is really an important thing to consider. If you're thinking about starting a family, or if you are looking for a place where you can age in place, 3-story homes can be a very big challenge. It's not uncommon to find a house on the market, a 3-story townhome. It's available for sale. You get onto the second or third floor and there's a nursery. It's difficult to manage infants and toddlers in a 3-story townhome. So if you're considering starting a family, you may want to think about that. Make sure you communicate that to your realtor so that you guys can determine what kind of a house really is best for you. So then once you've got this narrowed down, you know the type of house you're looking for, you know what you've been approved for, you know where you're going to live, it's time for your realtor to start preparing a list of homes for you to consider. Once you've found the house that you want, and don't forget, it's okay, look at as many as you need to. Some people can make the decision on the first house that they look at. Some people need to look at a lot of houses before they can decide. So don't feel bad if you're either one of those. There's no wrong way or right way as long as you get what you want and you're happy at the end of the day and the house is in good shape. It's okay. It's okay. There's no right or wrong way here. Then it's time to make your offer. This is where your first negotiations are going to begin. Your realtor is going to be looking at comparables in the neighborhood, what's sold, to see if the house is priced right. They're going to look at the amenities this house has, how updated it is. They're going to kind of try to get a feel for the age of the roof and the air conditioning. They do that by looking at a seller's disclosure and talking to their listing agent. And then you decide what you want to offer and the negotiations begin. Once you have gone into contract, you're going to have the home inspected, and you may be in a position to have to negotiate for some repairs here, and your realtor can guide you through that as well. Once you're past the inspection, the house is going to get surveyed. This is where they determine, what actually belongs to you, and make sure that you don't have any encroachments, or that a swimming pool isn't built into a city easement or something of that nature, and that everything is copacetic with the survey. So you'll get that done. And then your bank is going to want to make sure that the house is actually worth what you are getting a loan for. So they're going to have it appraised. They're going to make sure it's worth it. And then also, your lender is going to be asking you for a lot of documentation. Even though you've been pre-approved, they have to then verify everything you've said on that application. So they're going to be asking for backup documentation. You want to get that to your lender as quickly as possible. You want to keep things on pace so that you can close on time. Lock in your insurance. This is really important for those of us that live on the Gulf. This is especially important during hurricane season. You want to make sure that you get your insurance locked in before anything develops in the Gulf. If something develops, then it could cause delays when you're closing because an insurance company won't insure the property. So you want to lock it in as quickly as possible. And your realtor can help you with a home buyer's warranty. That's actually paid for by the seller. And then once all this is done, you get to close and you get your keys. So honestly, the process, once you're ready, once you've started to have your conversations with a realtor and you've started dialogue with a lender and you've gotten your pre-approval, you're looking at about 8 weeks from the time you get started to the time you actually close. It's about an 8-week process. You can speed that up, but give yourself at least 8 weeks. All right? If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at my email address below. And I want to thank you very much for checking in on my video series. Come back again. I'll have something on closing costs, and some more detail on financing. I'll do one on home equity. I've got a lot of them lined up. So just be sure to check that.